Well, I think we've all had a few days to come to terms with the shocking events of last week. And that's why, today, I'm going to put aside my usual rhetoric and deliver a message to you from the President of the United States of America. My fellow Americans, I've come to talk to you today about the tragic events that befell our nation last week. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and do the accent. I speak, of course, of Friday the 13th. On Friday the 13th, innocent American summer camp counselors were slaughtered while they were trying to get laid when they were supposed to be looking after some kids. Now, getting laid and expensive yet inattentive childcare are two values that we as a nation hold dear. As a nation, we've simply never seen an enemy as determined as Jason Voorhees before. And that's why, my fellow Americans, I'm asking you to give up more of your civil liberties so that the tragic events of Friday the 13th can never happen again. In the past, I've asked you, my fellow Americans, to allow the government into your library records, only to discover that the average American doesn't have library records. Which is why, to protect ourselves from enemies like Jason Voorhees, myself and Dick Cheney are going to be taking a look at your Netflix queue. Now, if your Netflix queue contains nothing but John Wayne movies, Walt Disney movies and Lethal Weapon movies, you have nothing to hide and nothing to fear. However, if your Netflix queue contains a bunch of French movies or Jane Fonda movies, frankly, I don't know what's worse. As your Commander-in-Chief, I don't understand why any American would want to watch a French movie. I literally don't understand, because it's in French. Following the tragic events of Friday the 13th, we're sending American armed forces into the property surrounding the Bates Motel. Now, some people would say that Norman Bates has nothing to do with the tragic events of Friday the 13th. But our intelligence shows us that Norman Bates' mother is alive and well, she's somewhere on the property, and she may possess information that could lead to the capture of Jason Voorhees. And finally, my fellow Americans, I want to remind you that following the tragic events of Friday the 13th, in some ways we're all horny camp counselors at Camp Crystal Lake, and we're all just trying to get laid while ignoring the kids. And that's what brings us together as a nation. This video has been supplied for parody purposes only. If anything, the tragic events of Friday the 13th are as nothing compared to the return of Michael Myers at Halloween. Laugh, damn it, laugh!